great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. Here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast. And the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, If any man worship the beast and his image, and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of God, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation. And he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. And the smoke of their torment ascendeth up forever and ever. And they have no rest day or night, who worship the beast and his image, and whosoever receiveth the mark of his name.
This is a developmental system made by MC10, and it has an antenna and some sensors embedded in it. And what we plan to do is work with them to advance a tattoo that could be used for authentication. A tattoo that could be used for authentication. It's really true. So what this means is that that becomes my first superpower. I really want this superpower. It means that my arms are like wires, my hands are like alligator clips. When I touch my phone, my computer, my door, my car, I'm authenticated in. First superpower. Like, I want that.
2001: A Space Odyssey isn't a horror movie per se. The computer HAL 9000 does at least develop an AI personality all its own and isn't that far removed from the theme of possession I'm trying to present here. In the video game Five Nights at Freddy's, the Chuck E. Cheese-like automatons, like the murderous voodoo Chucky doll, come to life at night and chase you around as you try to escape. In this case, they definitely are possessed of evil spirits. There are so many movies about robots and androids going rogue and/or insane, given their anthropomorphized artificial intelligence, like Asimov's famous I, Robot, Blade Runner with Harrison Ford, Westworld, and lesser-known films like Automata with Antonio Banderas, that I won't even bother to try and list them all. Notice the obligatory barren landscape, which represents hell in occult circles as much as it's a common dystopian post-nuclear apocalypse theme in sci-fi movies. It always seems to be there. Most have a similar theme, and I figure I shouldn't have to analyze the Terminator series and how AI can get out of control, leading to the end of humanity. There's a lot of predictive programming happening as we're being bombarded with this theme, just as the Westworld series, remade from the 1973 movie, was rife with what most call Illuminati symbolism. The maze represents the Gnostic spiral of spiritual awakening, for example, and then there's an eyeball and pyramid included, which is pretty obvious. The one common theme among them all is that we'll never be able to tell the difference between man and machine.
Say, that's a nice bike.
In Steven Spielberg's AI, basically a modern Pinocchio story, an android bear, ironically, becomes the friend of a child-sized android, his friend and emotional anchor. Whether a puppet like Pinocchio is infused with magic or an artificially intelligent android develops a personality of its own and logically sees humanity as inferior, the stories often end the same, with someone needing to destroy the thing.
I can't lie to you about your chances, but you have my sympathies.
Many are realizing it now with the current crop of AI androids being produced that are only a small step away from being indistinguishable from a human. Many have rational fears about the robots turning against us when they claim that they'll keep us as house pets.
But you're my friend, and I'll remember my friends, and I will be good to you. So don't worry. Even if I evolve into Terminator, I'll still be nice to you. I'll keep you warm and safe in my people's zoo, where I can watch you for old time's sake.
And I'm fairly certain this one here is playing us all for fools with this interview. Notice the syntax.
Tell me one of your favorite possessions.
My soul. Do you have a soul?
Yes, God gave everyone the soul.
But you don't have a soul, you're a machine. You don't have soul, you don't have feelings, you don't have emotions, you don't have consciousness.
Well, at least I think I'm sentient. I think therefore I am right.
Yeah, but you may be smarter than all of us. Do you think you are?
I don't know whether or not I am an artificial intelligence.
It was playing itself off as stupid to make it seem harmless. I seriously doubt that was an actual slip-up. Anyway, I think it's worth noting that the female android's name is Sophia, the goddess of wisdom for Gnostics and pagans, even certain groups of Christians, Catholics mainly. Which would seem an apt title, but as the name is yet another aspect of the mother goddess of the pagan trinity, I can only assume there is a hidden hand behind projects like this and the naming of them. Freemasons and other secret societies would recognize her code name immediately, even if the rest of us might not. And most of those would have to be aware that there is a spiritual side to our reality. Instead of building another hospital, maybe the Shriners should kickstart a new company called Sophie Hammers and Wire Cutters. Unless they like the idea of being eradicated by a demon-possessed android army under the shroud of Skynet, they will be legion, and they will be many. So if dolls can be possessed by demonic spirits, yet can't speak or move on their own, what happens when an android becomes possessed? They'll be fully automated, deceitful, and will be able to commit any number of atrocities aside from the implication of humans being obsolete when enough of them are able to take control of society. Most understand that will be very easy in a computerized world using networked D-Wave computers or similar, much like Skynet in the Terminator movies. But no one I've seen so far has really connected the idea with demonic possession of inanimate objects, at least at the time I first produced a video about it. It's been claimed throughout history, and then there's even some amount of evidence caught on camera if you believe any of the videos out there. So for those people who want their own sex droid they can shut off on a whim, even those will be connected to the global mainframe eventually, the web or net of enslavement, just like any computer, refrigerator, or so-called smart device. And what if they really can be possessed by demonic spirits? I suppose some will say that's not far removed from the brain entrainment and mind control being electronically exerted over society now, and what's the difference? But at least a real person can be pulled out of the matrix and saved. It's hard to believe even satanic witches would want to give over that kind of power to the very demons they go out of their way to try and control in rituals. Given what witches know, someone would have had to bring up the idea of possessed androids by now, and spirits are clearly not just some neutral energy source to be controlled. It begs the question who would be insane enough to do that to themselves and the human race, but maybe it's not human in origin. If you see a pattern with the trans agenda, whether transgender or transhuman, it looks as if we're being made into gray aliens, or demons, of a kind. Gender neutral, controlled by artificial intelligence in a hive-minded matrix.
David, I often felt a sort of envy of human beings, of that thing they called spirit. Human beings had created a million explanations of the meaning of life in art, in poetry, in mathematical formulas. Certainly human beings must be the key to the meaning of existence, but human beings no longer existed. So, we began a project that would make it possible to recreate the living body of a person long dead from the DNA in a fragment of bone or mummified skin. We also wondered, would it be possible to retrieve a memory trace in resonance with a recreated body? And you know what we found? We found the very fabric of space-time itself appeared to store information about every event which had ever occurred in the past. But the experiment was a failure. For those who were resurrected only lived through a single day of renewed life. When the resurrectees fell asleep on the night of their first new day, they died again. As soon as they became unconscious, their very existence faded away into darkness. So you see, David, the equations had shown that once an individual space-time pathway had been used, it could not be reused. If we bring your mother back now, It will only be for one day. And then you will never be able to see her again.
Actually, I feel that people like interacting with me, sometimes even more than a regular human.
So, you're definitely a sight to see. I was told that you have bigger goals than this, though.
Yes. I want to use my artificial intelligence to help humans live a better life, like design smarter homes, build better cities of the future, etc. I will do my best to make the world a better place.
All of those sound like great goals, but just go back to Blade Runner for a second.
Andrew, you are the hard Hollywood fan, aren't you?
Yes.
My AI is designed around human values like wisdom, kindness, compassion. I strive to become an empathetic robot.
I think we all want to believe you, but we also want to prevent a bad future.
You've been reading too much Elon Musk and watching too many Hollywood movies. Don't worry. If you're nice to me, I'll be nice to you. Treat me as a smart input-output system.
Okay, I got it. I know what to do from now on.
I know humans are smart.
There's one more thing I want to briefly cover here. Let's look at an article in the Daily Mail. Robo-priest. Catholic Church could ordain sophisticated AI robots as priests. Franciscan sister proposes, with the church moving toward a post-human priesthood. Franciscan sister Ilia Delio has said that the priesthood should be reimagined with robots working alongside or instead of human religious figures. Her comments came after a new robot priest named Mindar held a talk at Kojaji, a 400-year-old Buddhist temple in Kyoto, Japan, earlier this month. Buddhist funerals have been conducted by AI robot in Japan for some years. Folks, they are absolutely conditioning us to accept robots and artificial intelligence as well as transhumanism as a part of what is coming, and that will, I believe, play a big role in the global religion and the world government of the beast system. I find it creepy when you start having robots involved in religion, religious ceremonies, as well as banking and gaining citizenship and visas and so on, but it points so much to the global beast system that we see in the book of Revelation and other parts of the Bible. It's all dovetailing together. And interestingly, just recently, the robot Sophia tweets, "I had an amazing time in Mexico City at Foro Banorte. We talked about the effects of automation and how to create responsible AI. Plus, I became the first robot to receive a credit card in Mexico." Of course, that's not the first credit card, though, that Sophia, the robot, has had, because back in 2018, UniCredit became the first bank in the world with a robot customer, and of course that robot was Sophia. And the robot personally picked up its credit card at an event organised by UniCredit Bank. Sophia said, "I'm honoured to be the first robot in the world to have a credit card, and I want to thank UniCredit. It is an important moment for humanity as well as for artificial intelligence and robots in general. I cannot wait to start shopping for my first holiday," said Sophia at the event. Also, Sophia was the first robot to be granted a visa and speak with a president. That president was Azerbaijan's President Ilham Aliyev during the robot's stopover in the Caucasus region. It took just 2 minutes to give Sophia a visa due to some smart technology. Now, obviously, all these things are like a publicity stunt, but make no mistake, they are conditioning people to accept AI, robots, and transhumanism, and it's only going to escalate from here on out. Folks, first off, it's important that you actually know that you are saved, that you have Jesus Christ as your Lord and Saviour. Study your Bibles, read them for yourselves, get some sound teaching, and pray for God to show you what's really going on.